You didn't find this content by accident. Helena Blavatsky revealed exactly what a person feels when they die, and today you're going to discover these revelations that can completely transform your understanding about life after death. Thousands of people around the world carry within themselves a deep restlessness, a question that echoes in the silence of dawn. What really happens when we leave this world? Today, you'll discover not only the answers that Blavatsky received from spiritual masters, but also how these revelations align perfectly with the most recent scientific discoveries about consciousness and death. Helena Petrovna Blavatsky, the founder of Theosophy, didn't just study the mysteries of death through ancient texts. She had direct access to the teachings of the Mahatmas, ascended masters who revealed to her the deepest secrets about the soul's transition process. Her revelations about the final moments of human life are so precise that modern scientists, without knowing her teachings, have reached the same conclusions through research with people who experienced clinical death. What Blavatsky discovered goes beyond what current science can explain. She described in detail the sensations, energetic processes, and experiences that consciousness goes through at the moment of death. Even more impressive is that her descriptions coincide exactly with the accounts of thousands of people who returned from clinical death in recent decades. You're about to discover that death is not the terrifying end that our culture has taught us to fear. Through Blavatsky's teachings, you'll understand that dying is in fact the most liberating and beautiful experience a soul can live through. It's a return home, a reunion with our true divine nature, a moment of pure, expanded consciousness where all pain disappears and only love remains. Prepare yourself for a journey that will forever change your perception about life and death. The next moments will reveal not only what you'll feel when your time comes, but also how this knowledge can transform the way you live today. Because when you truly understand what death is, you finally understand what it means to be alive. The first revelation of Helena Blavatsky about the moment of death describes something that will completely surprise you. In the final instance, when the heart stops beating, consciousness doesn't diminish, it expands dramatically. Blavatsky explained that it's as if all the barriers that limited our perception during life simply disappear, allowing us to experience a mental clarity impossible to achieve in the physical body. Imagine for a moment that you lived your entire life looking at the world through a small window, and suddenly all the walls around disappear. This is the sensation described by Blavatsky when the soul frees itself from cerebral limitations. People who return from clinical death confirm exactly this. They report extraordinary mental lucidity, remembering minute details of the surrounding environment, even while being technically unconscious. Dr. Sam Parnia, one of the leading researchers of near-death experiences, has documented cases where patients described specific conversations of doctors, objects on the ceiling of the surgery room, and even people who entered the room after cardiac arrest. How would this be possible if consciousness were merely a product of the brain? Blavatsky already had the answer more than 140 years ago. According to the teachings she received, our true consciousness doesn't reside in the physical brain, but uses the brain as an instrument to express itself in the material world. When this instrument stops functioning, consciousness doesn't disappear. It simply returns to its natural condition of unlimited expansion. You might be wondering how this affects your current life. Understanding this first sign shows us that our true nature is much larger than we imagine. Each moment of deep intuition, each sudden insight, each sensation of connection with something greater is already a glimpse of that expanded consciousness we'll experience fully in death. But this expansion of consciousness is only the first of the signs that Blavatsky revealed. The second sign you're about to discover involves an even more impressive transformation in our perception of time and space, and how this explains why many people report seeing their entire life pass before their eyes in a matter of seconds. Comment which city you're watching from so we can know how far this sacred knowledge is reaching and how many awakened souls are ready to receive these transformative revelations that can change your relationship with life and death forever. Helena Blavatsky revealed that at the moment of death, our linear perception of time simply ceases to exist. According to the masters who instructed her, the soul experiences what she called eternal time, a state where past, present, and future merge into a single conscious experience. This revelation perfectly explains why so many people report seeing their entire life pass before their eyes in a matter of seconds. But it's not simply an accelerated memory. Blavatsky explained that it's a complete and simultaneous review of all lived experiences, where each moment is experienced again with perfect emotional and spiritual clarity. It's as if the entire journey of the soul in this incarnation were compressed into a single instant of total understanding. Think about how our perception of time changes drastically in different states of consciousness. In dreams, we can experience years of events in a single night. In moments of extreme danger, seconds seem to extend into minutes. Now imagine this expansion taken to infinity, where each second contains eternities of experience and understanding. This dissolution of linear time has a profound purpose that Blavatsky discovered through esoteric teachings. It's during this timeless review that the soul evaluates all lessons learned, all relationships established, and all spiritual growth achieved. It's not an external judgment, but a self-evaluation made with infinite wisdom and compassion. People who returned from clinical death frequently describe this experience as deeply transformative. They report understanding not only their own actions, but also the impact they had on other people's lives, creating an interconnected web of cause and effect that reveals the true purpose of their existence. This understanding of eternal time during death teaches us something fundamental about our current life. Each moment we live is not just an isolated experience, but part of a much larger cosmic tapestry. Each choice, each word, each gesture of love or compassion resonates through this eternity. When you understand that your soul already exists in this timeless state and that death is just a return to this natural condition, the urgency and anxiety of daily life begin to dissolve. You realize you have all the time in the universe to grow, learn, and love. The third sign that Blavatsky revealed will show how this timeless experience connects with something even more extraordinary, the reunion with other souls who have shared our spiritual journey through multiple existences. The third revelation of Helena Blavatsky about the death process described something that touches the heart of anyone who has ever lost someone loved. In moments of transition, the soul is received by loved ones who departed before, creating a reunion that transcends any joy experienced in physical life. But Blavatsky went beyond this common knowledge, revealing that these encounters are not emotional coincidences. They are planned reunions between souls who share a millennial spiritual journey. According to the teachings she received from the Mahatmas, each soul belongs to a spiritual group, a cosmic family that reincarnates together throughout multiple existences to learn specific lessons and evolve spiritually. At the moment of death, it's this spiritual family that comes to receive us, not just to give us comfort, but to help us understand the profound meaning of the life we just completed. Imagine the emotion of reuniting not only with your parents, grandparents, or children who departed, but also souls who were your companions in other lives, your spiritual teachers from past incarnations, and even those you helped or who helped you in previous journeys. It's an instant recognition that goes beyond the mind. It's the heart of the soul that awakens to connections that were always there. Modern accounts of near-death experiences confirm exactly this. People frequently describe encounters with loved ones who not only console them, but also instruct them about important decisions. Some report meeting relatives they never knew in their current life, but whom they instantly recognize as deep spiritual family. Blavatsky explained that these beings don't appear exactly as they were physically, but in a form of light and energy that perfectly expresses their spiritual essence. This is why many people report seeing their loved ones young and radiant, regardless of the age they had when they died. They appear in the form that best represents their true spiritual nature. What makes this revelation even more powerful is understanding that these connections already exist now while you're alive. Those special people in your life, those encounters that seemed destined, those relationships that touched your soul in an inexplicable way, all are part of this same spiritual family that awaits you on the other side. This understanding completely transforms our experience of loss and grief. When you realize that death is just a change of rooms in the same cosmic house, that the people we love continue our journey in a different but accessible dimension, the fear of separation transforms into anticipated joy for the reunion. Helena Blavatsky described the most transformative experience of the entire death process, the encounter with the primordial light, that pure energy of love and wisdom that constitutes the very essence of creation. According to her revelations, this is not simply a beautiful vision, but a moment of complete dissolution of all illusions we carry about ourselves and about reality. The Mahatmas explained to Blavatsky that during our entire earthly life, we live enveloped in veils of illusion that make us forget our true divine nature. We identify with the body, with thoughts, with fears, with limitations. But in the encounter with this supreme light, all these veils dissolve instantly, revealing who we really are, beings of pure light, infinite consciousness, unconditional love. People who experienced clinical death frequently struggle to describe this light because it transcends any physical experience. It's not a light you see, it's a light you are. It's not love you feel, it's love you recognize as your own essence. It's the moment of greatest possible clarity, where all existential questions find their answers not through words, but through direct and immediate knowledge. Blavatsky revealed that this light possesses a unique quality. It shows us simultaneously our human imperfection and our divine perfection, generating not judgment, but infinite compassion for ourselves. It's as if we saw our entire journey through the eyes of unconditional love, understanding that each mistake was an attempt at learning, each pain was an opportunity for growth. This experience completely transforms the soul's consciousness. Many people who returned from clinical death report that they completely lost their fear of death, not because they received guarantees about life after death, but because they directly experienced that they are this eternal and indestructible light. They understood that death is impossible, because their true nature never was born and never can die. The most extraordinary thing is that this same light is available to you now, in this moment. Blavatsky taught that moments of deep meditation, experiences of unconditional love, instants of nature contemplation, are small glimpses of this primordial light that you are. Each time you feel a peace that transcends understanding, you're touching this reality that will be fully revealed in death. Understanding this fourth sign frees us from the greatest of all fears, the fear of not being enough, of not deserving love, of being separated from the source of life. When you recognize that you're made of the same substance as this divine light, that your essential nature is pure love, your entire relationship with life transforms. One of the most surprising revelations that Helena Blavatsky received from spiritual masters concerns the soul's free will at the moment of death. Contrary to the popular belief that we are passive victims of the death process, Blavatsky discovered that the soul makes conscious and deliberate choices about the next steps of its spiritual journey. According to the esoteric teachings she received, after the encounter with the primordial light and the dissolution of illusions, the soul enters a state of expanded wisdom where it can clearly evaluate its spiritual evolution and decide which experience will be most beneficial for its growth. Some souls choose to return immediately to the physical plane through a new incarnation. Others opt for periods of learning in the higher astral planes. Imagine having access to wisdom that transcends all limitations of the human mind, being able to see with absolute clarity which lessons you still need to learn, which karmas need to be balanced, which spiritual gifts should be developed. It's with this divine clarity that the soul makes its post-death choices. Blavatsky explained that many souls, especially those who develop strong emotional connections with loved ones still incarnated, choose to remain close to the terrestrial plane for some time, not out of attachment in the negative sense, but out of genuine love and desire to assist those who remained. This is why so many people report feeling the presence of deceased loved ones in special moments or times of need. Modern research on near-death experiences corroborates this revelation of Blavatsky. Many people report that during their out-of-body experience, they had to make a conscious choice about returning or moving forward. Frequently, this choice is influenced by responsibilities with small children, unfulfilled purposes, or the perception that there's still spiritual work to be done on earth. What makes this revelation even more powerful is understanding that this capacity for conscious choice doesn't begin at death. It exists now, in your current life. Each day, you make choices that determine not only your immediate future, but also the quality of your spiritual experience and the options you'll have available at the moment of transition. When you live conscious that your soul is an eternal entity, making deliberate choices for its spiritual growth, Each challenge transforms into opportunity, each relationship into possibility for learning, each moment into chance for evolution. You stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances and recognize yourself as co-creator of your spiritual journey. This understanding removes the fear of death because you realize that your soul, equipped with divine wisdom, will always make the most loving and evolved choice available. There are no wrong decisions at the soul level, only different paths to the same destination, the conscious return to unity with the divine source. Helena Blavatsky revealed one of the most technical and fascinating aspects of the death process, the gradual dissolution of the different energetic bodies that compose the complete human being. According to the esoteric teachings she received, we are much more than just a physical body. We possess multiple layers of existence that dissolve in specific sequence during death's transition. The masters explained to Blavatsky that we possess 7 main bodies: the physical, etheric, astral, lower mental, higher mental, buddhic, and atmic. During death, these bodies separate in a precise order, each dissolution liberating consciousness to more expanded levels of perception and experience. First, the physical body dissolves, which we already know. Next, the etheric body, that vital energy that maintains life, separates gradually, explaining why some people remain conscious for a few minutes after cardiac arrest. It's during this etheric separation that many people experience the sensation of floating above their own body, observing the scene from an elevated perspective. The astral body, seat of emotions, is next to be liberated. Blavatsky explained that it's at this moment that the soul experiences emotional reviews of life, reliving not only its own feelings, but also understanding the emotional impact it caused on other people. It's a profound purification that dissolves resentments, fears, and emotional attachments. The dissolution of the lower mental marks the end of personality as we know it, that specific identity constructed during this particular incarnation. It's here that many people report a sensation of expansion beyond anything they can describe, as if their individual consciousness became part of something infinitely greater. When the higher mental and Buddhic bodies begin to integrate with expanding consciousness, the soul experiences what Blavatsky called direct wisdom, knowledge that doesn't come through thoughts or studies, but through direct identity with universal truth. It's in this state that many people report knowing everything or having access to any information in the universe. Finally, when only the atmic body, our purest spiritual essence, remains active, the soul prepares for complete union with cosmic consciousness. This is the stage where individuality doesn't disappear, but expands to include all creation. Understanding this dissolution process has profound implications for how we live now. Each deep meditation, each moment of transcending limited personality, each experience of unconditional love, is a small rehearsal of this dissolution process we'll experience completely in death. When you recognize that your true identity resides in the higher bodies, Buddhic and Atmic, which are eternal and indestructible, you stop identifying so much with the concerns of temporal personality and begin to live from your immortal spiritual nature. The 7th sign that Blavatsky revealed will show how this dissolution of subtle bodies prepares the soul for an experience that few understand: the journey through the higher astral planes and the encounter with the masters of wisdom. The 7th revelation of Helena Blavatsky about the death process describes a journey that transcends any known human experience, the soul's passage through the higher astral planes and direct encounter with the masters of wisdom who guide humanity's spiritual evolution. This is not an optional experience or reserved only for special souls. It's the natural destiny of every consciousness that completes a terrestrial incarnation. According to the teachings Blavatsky received, after the dissolution of the lower bodies, the soul begins an ascension through different levels of reality, each characterized by specific vibrational frequencies and unique types of spiritual experience. These planes are not physical places, but states of consciousness where different aspects of universal truth can be directly experienced. In the first higher astral plane, the soul encounters other consciousnesses that completed similar incarnations, forming spiritual study groups where life experiences are shared and understood in their broader karmic context. It's here that many people report, in near-death experiences, meeting not only known family members but also souls they recognize as spiritual family without being able to rationally explain this connection. In the more elevated planes, Blavatsky revealed that the soul has the opportunity to study directly with the ascended masters, beings who completed their cycle of terrestrial incarnations and now dedicate their existence to assisting other souls in their evolutionary journey. These encounters are not conversations in the human sense, but direct transmissions of wisdom through temporary consciential fusion. What makes this revelation even more extraordinary is that Blavatsky explained that this journey through the higher planes is not passive. The soul participates actively, making choices about which aspects of universal wisdom it wants to explore more deeply, which spiritual abilities it wants to develop, and how it can best serve the greater evolutionary plan. Many people who return from profound near-death experiences report having received missions or understandings about their life purpose that were previously completely unknown. They frequently develop psychic abilities, healing capacities, or spiritual understanding they didn't possess before. Blavatsky explained that this happens because their consciousness had temporary access to these planes of higher wisdom. Understanding this journey through the higher planes completely transforms our perspective on education and spiritual growth. You realize that each moment of sincere spiritual study, each deep meditation, each act of disinterested service is preparing your consciousness to navigate with greater ease through these dimensions of wisdom when your time comes. If you feel you're here in this life with a specific purpose, if certain spiritual truths resonate in your soul in an inexplicable way, if you have abilities or knowledge that seem to come from nowhere, this could be the result of studies performed in these higher planes between previous incarnations. Leave in the comments which of these revelations about the soul's journey most touched your heart, as your response can help other people understand aspects of their own spiritual journey that are still awakening. The eighth sign revealed by Blavatsky will show something that will forever change your understanding about reincarnation. How the soul makes the choice to return and actively participates in selecting its next life experiences. The eighth revelation of Helena Blavatsky about the death process presents perhaps the most empowering aspect of the entire soul's journey. The moment when, equipped with expanded wisdom from the higher planes, consciousness makes the sacred choice to return to the physical plane for a new incarnation. Contrary to the belief that we reincarnate automatically or by compulsion, Blavatsky discovered that this is an act of conscious and deliberate love. The Mahatmas explained to her that after a variable period of learning in the higher astral planes, which can last decades or centuries in terrestrial time, the soul reaches a point of saturation of theoretical knowledge and feels the need to apply this wisdom through practical experience in a physical body. It's like a student who, after years of theory, yearns for the opportunity to practice their knowledge in the real world. But this choice is not made in isolation. Blavatsky revealed that the soul works in collaboration with a council of masters and spiritual guides to carefully select the conditions of its next incarnation: family, geographical location, specific challenges, growth opportunities, and even certain people it will meet. Everything is chosen with surgical precision to provide the exact experiences necessary for the next stage of spiritual evolution. Imagine having access to a panoramic vision of multiple life options, being able to clearly see how each choice would provide different learning opportunities, different forms of serving humanity, different aspects of your divine nature that could be developed. It's with this absolute clarity that your soul made the choices that resulted in your current life. This revelation completely transforms our understanding about destiny and free will. You're not living a life that was imposed on you by external forces. You're living a life that your own soul consciously chose as the best available opportunity for your spiritual growth at this moment of your eternal evolution. People who had profound near-death experiences frequently report having seen life options during their out-of-body experience, or having received information about why they chose certain challenging experiences. Some describe having made spiritual agreements with other souls to meet and help each other at specific moments in their lives. When you understand that your soul actively chose the challenges you face, they cease to be random obstacles and become sacred opportunities for growth. That difficult person in your life may be a courageous soul who agreed to play a challenging role to help you develop patience or compassion. That complicated financial situation may be exactly the experience your soul knew it needed to develop spiritual trust or material detachment. More than that, understanding the sacred choice of return shows us that we're here out of love. Love for evolution, love for experience, love for the opportunity to serve other beings in their spiritual journeys. Your current life is not a cosmic accident, but a conscious choice made by a wise soul who knew exactly what it was doing. We arrive at the supreme revelation that Helena Blavatsky received about the true meaning of death and life. You are not just an individual soul making a personal journey of evolution. You are a conscious cell in the infinite body of divinity, actively participating in the spiritual awakening of all creation. This final understanding completely transforms not only how you see death, but how you understand the sacred purpose of your current existence. Blavatsky discovered through the teachings of the Masters that each soul that incarnates and eventually disincarnates carries with it unique experiences that enrich humanity's collective consciousness. Each life lived, each lesson learned, each moment of love expressed contributes to the vibrational elevation of the entire planet. Your individual journey is simultaneously deeply personal and cosmically significant. When you understand that your future death will be not only your personal liberation, but also your definitive contribution to humanity's collective wisdom, each moment of your current life becomes sacred. Each challenge overcome with love, each conflict resolved with compassion, each moment of true joy experienced doesn't benefit only you. It elevates all human consciousness. People who returned from profound near-death experiences frequently report having understood that they are part of an interconnected web of consciousness, where each thought, each emotion, each action resonates through the entire network. They perceived that they were never really alone, but always connected to an infinite spiritual family working together for the same goal: the complete awakening of divine consciousness in all forms of life. This final revelation of Blavatsky shows us that the fear of death arises from the illusion of separation. When you recognize that you are an indissoluble part of universal consciousness, death becomes not an end, but a change of function within the same divine organism. It's like a heart cell that becomes a brain cell. The essence remains, only the role transforms. Even more extraordinary is understanding that you're already living this reality now. Each moment of deep intuition you have, each synchronicity you experience, each special connection you feel with certain people are evidence of your conscious participation in this divine network of shared wisdom. Your current life is not preparation for something greater that will come after death. It's the present expression of your eternal divine nature. Death will simply remove the veils that today obscure this reality, revealing that you always were, are, and always will be a unique and precious expression of infinite consciousness. When you live with this understanding, each relationship becomes an opportunity to recognize divinity in another being. Each challenge transforms into a chance to express your higher spiritual nature. Each moment reveals itself as a possibility to contribute to humanity's collective elevation. If these revelations awakened something deep in your soul, if you feel the call to live consciously as part of the divine plan, share in the comments how this understanding is transforming your perspective on life and death. Like this content so more people can have access to this millennial wisdom that Helena Blavatsky had the courage to preserve for us. And if you want to continue exploring the deepest mysteries of spiritual existence, subscribe to receive more revelations that can completely transform your journey of consciential awakening. Remember, you didn't find these revelations by accident. Your soul was ready to receive this wisdom. Now you know that death is not the end of your story, but the conscious beginning of your eternal participation in the cosmic dance of divine creation.